Hello, Vivid Earth Tribe. How you all doing? So wanted to send you a quick message today about a couple of updates, just a short message. Excuse the light, but the morning or sort of midday light is just coming into my office, and I'm just not going to move because it's so beautiful. It's really, I have a view of the mountain and the sun coming in over the garden, fynbos garden, all sorts of proteus species and Cape fynbos. In the Cape, we have the biggest biodiversity in one floral kingdom, I believe, in the world. Um, so it really is magnificent, and I'm loving staying here at the foot of Table Mountain and just having this beautiful nature as my back garden, really to look out toward. Really, it does help me quite a lot. Um, so I will share that with you a little bit. I'll share with you a pic of what I'm seeing right now. So you get to share in this beautiful space. Today I'm going to talk about Diana, Princess Diana. We all know about her. Everyone that I know loved her energy, and I've never heard a negative thing said about her ever. Rumor has it, and this is very likely to be true. I'd say probably 98% true, that she's not really dead. She never died. Her death was faked. She escaped the clutches of that royal principality in Britain, because it was just too awful for words. And she has actually been working behind the scenes, I believe, with the White Hat. So I can't guarantee that this information is 100% truth, as I said, but I think the likelihood is about 98%. I've heard too many sources report on this in different communities that are not really crossing over from, people in the truth community, so many of them. Respectable people, but also intuitives, mediums, psychics have all reported the same thing. So wouldn't that be fabulous if Princess Diana could come back? She was always like a beacon of light when she was still in the public eye. And there's no one that didn't love her, and everyone could feel that vibrant light force emanate from her. I think there's no one that didn't feel that light coming out of her. And wouldn't it be magnificent if she's back on the scene? And then I was listening to a lady called Linda Paris. She has been talking about Diana as well, but she was actually reading a piece of the palace where she was staying, Diana was staying, and she was a cook, a healer, and sort of very close to Diana, and some of the things that she reported on after she left. That's fascinating, and I'm going to play a little clip around that for you so you can hear it firsthand. But that was fascinating for me, and I think a lot of people have been speaking also about the royal family that are not human, Diana excluded, of course, and that they are reptilian. And I think enough people have reported on this also for it not to be true. As I said before, we will see an official death of the Queen very soon because, in the public eye, that body has to pass away at some point, right? So, but the truth is they never stop really living. They just keep soul shifting into other bodies. And there's even talk that she's the same being as was Queen Victoria, who apparently drank blood from skulls. Yeah, I'm sorry for some of you, this may be a little bit shocking, a little bit hard to believe, but I can guarantee you a lot of this information has been verified. As I say, I'm positively certain it's 98% truth. And the only reason why I'm telling you this, I'm not telling this to you to gossip or to create drama, but it's important that we know the truth because there is a little saying that says the truth will set you free. So that is why I am committed to bring truth forward. And I've been a little bit reluctant to do it in the past weeks because I felt like this negative energy might just be perpetuated. And we all know that like attracts like. So I didn't want to perpetuate that negative energy. But I've come to the realization that truth will indeed set you free. But once you have that truth in mind, and once you've assimilated and integrated that information, you've got to let it go and you've got to move forward. I said this in my last video. I'm going to say this again. So just a disclaimer that you shouldn't hold on to this information. You can tell others the truth that need to know it. But if they choose not to wake up or not to believe it, leave them. Just move along. It's important for us to know the truth because, we can't just live in a love and light society. As much as I am a big supporter of love and light, the truth is we live on a planet of duality. So not recognizing that the shadows is just going to leave us vulnerable. And our job here on earth really is to integrate the dark and the light, not to ignore the dark or to push it out or to banish it from earth, because we'll never really be able to do that. But once we integrate the two, there's balance and there's harmony. Because we can't just have love and light, because we will be, it will be the same as what happened on Lyra all those many years ago, and why they were attacked, because where they were naive and they didn't believe in darkness, and they were attacked and manipulated and deceived. And we don't want that to ever happen to Earth again. Once this planet is liberated, we want to be able to stand in our truth, defend ourselves, but at the same time, create the kind of world that we want to see around us. I think that's very important. And we all know sort of that frequency of love trumps everything. And that's why it's also important not to stay in the negative mindset, because if you stay in that negative mindset, it's going to lower your vibration and you're going to attract more of that, and you're not going to do any good to the earth plane and our mission here on earth. So I want to implore you to recognize the evils, know it's there, and then vanquish it with a vibration of love. And Sam, the illusionist that I interviewed a couple of episodes ago, he had very valuable advice that he was channeling, and it was around the Lionsgate. And what they said, I think it came from the Pleiadians, that whenever a thought entered your mind, replace that thought with love. And that was obviously very important for that particular time. But it's good advice for us in general. So once you know the truth and you've recognized it and you've gotten over that shock of what the information actually reveals, it's about lifting the veil on the shadow, not keeping it in the darkness. It's about putting light on the darkness, shedding light on the darkness, lifting the veil, and then transmuting it with love. And it's still understanding that there is darkness that you're going to come across, but the balance to the goodness and peace and harmony and love, vibration that we want to see on this earth will shift. So there'll be a much bigger shift towards that love vibration than to the darkness. And that's what we need to create here on earth. So that's very important. So yeah, some of you may be shocked by the information that I'm sharing right now about Diana and the royal family, but I thought it was important for those that didn't already know what was going on. I do believe disclosure is important. I do believe a big disclosure is coming. My aim is to make sure that you're not going to be shocked too much. So little drops of red pills here and there I think is going to help the community, especially kind of the more spiritually inclined community, to empower themselves and to create a vibration of integration and love. And that is my aim. So let me quickly share my screen. You can see my view, and then I'm going to share then I'm going to share this video that I wanted to show you. Ooh, where am I now? Sorry, it's not what I intended to share. So, as you can see, I don't know how to make this bigger now. So, but you can get a little glimpse of the view behind me. This is literally what I'm looking at now. You can see where my laptop is positioned. So I'm really feeling extremely blessed with this view and grateful that I have this slice of nature to balance and ground me every day. So even if you don't have a garden like this, there are certainly green belts or areas around where you live that you can go to and put your feet on the ground, on the earth. That's very important. I know I've said this before, but I'm going to say this again. It's super, super important. Now, let me play this little clip from Linda Paris, so you can see what I'm talking about.
Betty Andrews, the former cook and housekeeper at Althorpe, is quoted by Star Magazine as saying, quote, "There's a strange feeling amongst the villagers that we may not be hearing the complete picture," end quote. While researching this book, I was introduced to Christine Fitzgerald, a brilliant and gifted healer who was a close friend and confidant of Diana for 9 years. Because of Christine's understanding of the esoteric, Diana was able to talk to her about matters she would not dare to share with anyone else for fear of being dubbed crazy. It is clear that Diana knew about the true nature of the royal family's genetic history and the reptilian control. Her nicknames for the Windsors were the Lizards and the Reptiles. And she used to say in all seriousness, quote, "They're not human." And who else said that? This is me talking now. And who else said that? The president said that in one of his speeches. In fact, you could say they're not human. Talking about the Democrats and a lot of these people that are, foaming at the mouth, like Jim Carrey. There is a very good reason for Diana using this description of the Windsors.
I just want to mention, I don't know who of you saw that video of John Kerry. I forgot where it was from, but he was kind of in part of a group in the background. He wasn't the one speaking or being focused on, but he was in the room. And he went into this weird trance. He started licking his lips, like weird stuff that basically lizards would do. If you see that video, you will agree that this guy is not human. So unfortunately, they have taken over a lot of human bodies. And those people are no longer in their bodies. These shapeshifters have taken hold of their bodies and controlling their mind. And these people are in leadership positions. So this is how they control the part of the control system of Earth. And they, at the highest level, everywhere around this Earth. They've been planning this for hundreds of years. So believe me, they will leave no stone unturned. They are pretty much everywhere. They own all of the banks. They own, all of big pharma, all of big tech, all of mainstream media, like literally any and all large organizations around the world. So I've stopped supporting all of that, like all of it, including Hollywood. And you should think about that as well, because if you don't want to be part of that system, the first step is to not support their control structures anymore. That's the first step. That's the first step in you taking back your freedom, your liberty, your sovereignty. I can go on for hours on that subject, and I think I have spoken about it before. But yeah, once I learned what was going on in Hollywood, and specifically about certain actors, and I saw some secret filmings and photos and first-hand accounts of things that they were involved in. I can't support any of that anymore. Not Hollywood, not the music industry, none of it. So you may want to think about them the same. Let me just carry on with this video.
As her deprogramming continued, Arizona Wilder remembered clearly a ritual she attended at Clarence House, the Queen Mother's home near to Buckingham Palace, in which Diana was shown who the Windsors really are. It took place in the first 7 days of July 1981, just before Diana and Charles were married on the 29th. It's interesting, it says that this is Clarence House right here. And it looks like the same building. Looks like it's been painted white. Here, or part of it is brick, I guess. Yeah, look inside Clarence House, the home of Prince Charles and Camilla. So there it is right there, Clarence House. So as her deprogramming continued, Arizona Wilder remembered clearly a ritual she attended at Clarence House, the Queen Mother's home near to Buckingham Palace, in which Diana was shown who the Windsors really are. It took place in the first 7 days of July 1981, just before Diana and Charles were married on the 29th. This period is the last 7 days of the cycle of the oak tree, according to esoteric law, and the ritual was called the Awakening of the Bride. This is a ritual for all females of the 13 bloodlines who are going to be in publicly high positions and marry reptilians to produce the new generation of rulers. Arizona says that the Queen Mother, the Queen, Prince Philip, and Lady Fermoy, Diana's father, Earl Spencer, Prince Charles, and Camilla Parker Bowles were all present when Diana was brought into the room. And you look at a lot of pictures of Diana, and it seems like the only time she's smiling is when she's around children. The rest of the time, she seems so sad in her pictures, like this one. She was wearing a white gown, and a drug had been administered by Lady Fermoy. Let's take a look at this picture. Well, there it is right there. And I've heard from everyone that Diana was a real woman. A drug had been administered by Lady Fermoy. Diana was told that she should consider her union with Prince Charles as only a means to produce heirs and nothing else. Camilla Parker Bowles was his consort, not her. Arizona says that Prince Philip and the Queen Mother then shapeshifted into reptiles to show Diana who they really were. Diana was terrified but quiet, she said. Diana was told that if she ever revealed the truth about them, she would be killed. And in quotation marks, it says, remember the guy I mentioned who had a call from Diana in March before she died, asking for his advice on how to reveal information about the royals that would shake the world, question mark. And I wonder if that was her personal, I don't know, she had like a personal guy who was a friend of hers. I forgot what he's called, but, he was to take care of her, I guess. The Queen Mother, or he was a confidant. The Queen Mother told Diana at the rituals that all ears would be listening to everything she said, and all eyes would forever be watching her. This is the classic nowhere to run bind imposed on all mind-controlled slaves. Does anyone believe, therefore, that they would allow Diana into the clutches of Muhammad al-Fayed if he was not under their control? The ritual also involved the use of a golden penis, Osiris symbolism, which was used on Diana to signify the opening of the womb. Arizona says it was of reptilian shape and size and had needle-like protrusions designed to superficially puncture the walls of the vagina and cause bleeding. Diana was told that after this ritual, she would never be honored again by attending their rituals, and that she was not to ask questions about them. Now, do people understand why Diana suffered from bulimia and serious emotional problems from the time she married Charles? Diana told Christine Fitzgerald that the Queen Mother was the power behind the Windsors, along with Prince Philip. But Philip was subordinate in the hierarchy to the Queen Mother, Diana said. The Queen Mother is connected to a long list of brotherhood groups and societies, and she is the head of the Inner Temple, the elite and highly secret society for the upper levels of the legal profession on the former Knights Templar land and Temple Bar in London. It was the Queen Mother and her close friend, Diana's grandmother, Ruth Lady Fermoy, who manipulated Diana into the marriage with Prince Charles. This is why Diana was given quarters at the Queen Mother's home, Clarence House, in the weeks before the wedding, and she left from there to marry Charles at St. Paul.
Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. There's lots more, but I think you get the picture. Yeah, pretty shocking stuff, guys. Some of you may have already had this information. Linda Paris, by the way, she is a avid truther, very hardworking, very committed to revealing the truth, and she puts a lot of time in her research. So she's one of the truthers that I respect. I don't always like her style so much necessarily because she, it does get a little bit dark and negative sometimes, but you've got to give her credit for digging, finding the information. And I think, there's a place for all of us, and that's really her place, digging and revealing the information. And I do believe she is quite respected by the white hats as well. And you know what? I think when all this is over, you're going to see a whole change in the landscape, in the media landscape, because a lot of the corrupt media that we know are probably not going to be around. And a lot of people that have been committed to real journalism and revealing the truth and doing their work, not just regurgitating information that they've been given and paid to deliver. Those people are going to take more prominent positions in the media when all this is over. So, a lot of these truthers, they don't have it easy. They, they feel a commitment and a calling to do what they do, but they don't have it easy and they don't earn a lot of money. There's not a lot of money in truthing, eh? So you got to give these guys credit. There's other stuff that they can do for money that is much easier. So if they were there to make money, believe me, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. So we got to give them credit for this. They've been through a lot. They've suffered a lot. I'd say some of them do get a little bit lost. They either grow a big ego or they don't do the inner work. So they've just fixated on all of the negative drama that they can bring forth. And I don't really support that. I do believe if you are in this position and you're doing that work, you got to balance it out. You've got to do a lot of inner work because otherwise you're going to be putting yourself down into a very deep, dark pit. And that's not healthy and it's not constructive for everyone, for anyone. So, and, some of them also, they develop an ego and they begin to think that they are the bee's knees and, they get a large following and they're not open to information anymore. They're basically just open to their own information and they're normally not very spiritual either. So, they disown any of this sort of new earth stuff. And that really is sad because that means they're just going to be limited in their own development. And when that mission of revealing the truth is over, they're not going to have any foundation to stand on. And what's there next for them? Because once the big disclosure happens and EBS and the whole world is made aware of the corrupted system of enslavement that we've all been under. What's next for them? Just good old boring journalism. So, I think these people need to make sure that they are balanced human beings, first of all. It's very addictive as well, digging into the truth and connecting the dots and following the breadcrumbs. It can be really, really addictive. So you've got to balance that out. Make sure you have a very strong foundation, whoever is on that journey. that you are grounded, that you know yourself, that you are connected with your higher self and your inner self and with the earth, Mother Gaia, and the cosmos. Because if you're not, as I say, you're just going to get lost. You're just going to spiral into this web of deception, and it's not going to be healthy. So that's my little rant on that subject. But I thought I'd bring you a bit of info about that. And I'm very, the news of her um, reappearing in the public scene is sort of intensifying. So it was in the truth community, not the mainstream media, of course. But so it'll be very interesting to see what happens over the next coming weeks and months. And she's not the only one that people have rumored that are still alive. Even people like Michael Jackson, JFK, um, and a few others. I mean, even, Anne Hesh, that died recently she was making a film basically on the trafficking of little ones. I'm not going to say all the words because I might get banned, but you get the drift of what I'm talking about. So she was apparently in a car crash and a fire broke out, and then she had brain damage and she was declared dead. But then videos surfaced of her trying to escape from this body bag. It was basically aerial videography that was filmed in that moment of her being saved by the firing squad, by the fire and rescue, basically. And the weird thing is that they loaded her into a fire truck, not an ambulance, first of all. And second of all, she was in a body bag, like taped down, like literally taped down with like black stuff. And as she was put into this fire truck, she basically unzipped this whole thing and she was like getting out of this whole body bag. And she wasn't burnt, or her hair was still intact. She wasn't like somebody that had severe burn damage. And she was basically pushed down and pushed into the truck. So there is rumors that she is not dead. She's in a witness protection program. Remember, she was the girlfriend, or was she the wife of Ellen DeGeneres, which is apparently, I think she's either a Rothschild or a Rockefeller. That's not her real name. And she's very high on the Jeffrey Epstein list as well, in case you didn't know. I mean, just look at her film set. It looks like Epstein Island. Like literally, go and look at her film set, the blue and white stripes, the golden dome, the palm trees. It looks like that temple or whatever you call it that was on Epstein Island, with so much symbology. So she's not a good person, in case you didn't know. All of that's going to be revealed as well. But yeah, Anne Hesh she was either married to her or in a relationship. And then she made this film. How coincidental is that? Because Ellen DeGeneres has been rumored to be part of this whole trafficking ring, as well as so many other elites. So yeah, I think I will continue to reveal the truth, because it's important that we know. People watch that show and they think it's funny, and they're entertained by it, and they don't even know what's happening behind the scenes, and the symbology that they drop in these episodes. And I just want you guys to stop watching that nonsense, in case you still are. I think many of you have already awakened and you don't watch all this mainstream stuff. But in case you do, please don't give it any more energy. Don't support it. Just remove your energy away from these things. So the more energy you give it, the more power you give it. So it's not about being negative or getting swept up in the drama, but it is about knowing it's there, lifting the veil, removing your energy from it, and transmuting it with a love frequency, because nothing can penetrate that. The frequency is too high for the negatives to cause any harm. So that's why you need to make sure that you're in that frequency. And as I said, love is it's actually a bastardized word. Unfortunately, we think of a romantic love or parental or sibling love, and that's not really what love is. Love is just a beautiful frequency of peace, harmony, understanding, compassion, acceptance, and kindness. That's really what it is. So, yeah, I think everyone wants to live in that place, right? And we all want this earth to vibrate in that frequency. So it's knowing the darkness, knowing it's there, and just transmuting it kindly. Don't fight it, because you can't fight fire with fire. That just doesn't work. You have to give it the opposite, right? When you want to put out a fire, you put water on it, right? That's like the opposite element. And that's really what life is about. If you want to change something, don't fight it with what it's made of. Don't fight, a sword with a sword or a knife with a knife. Give it the opposite, and it will be completely vanquished and removed. And if enough of us can get into that frequency, we can truly overcome and shift the darkness on this planet into the light and create that balance. Not create the same situation that was on Lyra. Remember, most of us are descendants from Lyra in one way or another. Maybe some further back than others, but in one way or another, it's very much part of our DNA. And Lyra was a love and light planet, and we don't want to be perpetuating what happened there, because the Lyran Wars destroyed Lyra, and it was very traumatic for everyone on that planet. And we have this unique opportunity to create a new reality on this planet. It is a planet of duality, and that's not going to change. However, we can raise the frequency of this planet and integrate the two. And so at some point, we need to start looking objectively at good and bad, evil versus good, and dark versus light. Just look at it a bit more objectively, like take a few steps back and see it for what it is, and accept it for what it is. And remove the anger, remove the judgment, remove the resentment, and replace that with love frequency. That's the only way we're going to fix this, guys. So that's my message for today. I hope you found that helpful. Any questions, pop it in the comments below. If you like this message and this information, please remember to share, and don't forget to like this video, because that is what triggers the algorithms on YouTube, so that more people can get this message as well. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you did like this information. I hope to bring a lot more. The channel is quite new, but please make sure you subscribe, because I'm going to bring some very, very interesting information and interviews much more regularly as well. So I do appreciate all your support. Thankful for all of you. And I feel blessed that so many awakened souls are around me that is open to this kind of information. And I'm sending you all lots of love. See you soon.